I think I took too much pre-workout, I can't breathe. I think I'm gonna get a good pump today. My legs kind of feel like it. My legs feel like they're begging for a pump. Where's my butt plug? There it is. Start on this side and then you work up to that side. With consistency and determination, anything's possible. All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about some things that I really wish I knew when I first started lifting. Been doing this for 10 years now, and yeah, I just want to touch on some things that I have learned over the last, especially the last like 2 to 3 years, so my more advanced years, that I wish I knew when I was younger that would have helped me make better, faster progress, avoid some injuries and mistakes and things like that. And yeah, just essentially teach you guys the stuff that I have learned so that you guys don't have to learn it the hard way. And that's what we're gonna talk about today. We've also got a leg day on the schedule, and hopefully I'm gonna try and hit a little RDL PR. We shall see. Regardless of whether or not you're an intermediate, beginner, or even advanced lifter, you're probably gonna learn something, so let's do it. I don't care. And I don't know the words of that song. Ooh, happy. That good stretch. Right in the dust. I'm gonna have the strongest kitty. There we go. Heavier weight, less reps. That's fine with me. You can pull my butt plug out. It's tight. God! Oh! Ah! Resurrected back before the final falling. Now never rest until I can make my own way. I'm not afraid of fading. I stand alone. Thank you, sir. All right, so first thing that, these are in no particular order, by the way. First thing that I wish I knew when I started lifting is that squat, bench, and deadlift, or overhead press, like military, barbell military press, standing overhead press, whatever you want to call it. You know, the classic barbell movements. I wish that I knew that they are not mass builders when I first started training. When I first started training, everything I read and everything I watched and heard was, if you're a newbie and you want to gain as much mass as possible, the most efficient way to do that is to do mass builder exercises. They're actually the worst in terms of hypertrophy, the things we know that facilitate maximal growth stimulus on like a per rep or per set basis. Those movements are not good. They're internally stabilized, they're difficult to coordinate, especially for newbies who don't have a good like proprioception or like coordination or control of their bodies. Those exercises are harder to do in a way that allows you to take the target muscle to failure and really produce a growth stimulus. So everybody says that, and people still say that. And while I do think there is merit in the sense that like newbies should learn to coordinate themselves and stabilize themselves, and maybe they should even do those movements, I just wish that there wasn't as much, or I didn't put as much of an emphasis on those movements when I started. So I'm not saying they're bad and you should not do them. I'm just saying that they shouldn't be like your number one priority, be all end all type of approach to training. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can definitely incorporate squats if you're a newbie, and even if you're not a newbie. But if you really want to put on size, then I would recommend, you know, instead of doing a barbell back squat, doing a hack squat, or instead of doing, you know, conventional deadlift, doing seated hamstring curls or RDLs. You know what I mean? So basically, just like, those are not the best movements you can do. They're a little bit better maybe for a beginner in the sense that they will teach a beginner to coordinate themselves, and because a beginner is so not used to training, their body's gonna grow more easily. So you don't necessarily need the best possible hypertrophy exercises to create growth, but just don't put like a ton of emphasis on those movements because they're not the best movements for growth. Oops.
You're really bothering now, that was...
Yeah, it's too late. And that's a full stack, baby. That's what it's all about. Everybody want to be a bodybuilder, but ain't nobody want to lift no heavy ass weight. Where'd I put my shit? I need my butt plug. Make sure you get the weight, because it's heavy. Did you get the weight? There we go. All right. Man, you can't, it's not cool when there's only 3 plates on it. It'd be cooler if I was just stronger and bigger and more jacked.
I agree.
Oh, Jesus. That's heavy today. I almost had that one.
Good set, sir.
I want my mummy. Do a little drum roll. Second thing that I wish I knew when I first started lifting is just because somebody's jacked doesn't mean they know fucking jack shit. Like, some of the worst people that I know, they're not my friends, but so if you're my friend, I'm not talking about you, don't worry. But some of the worst sources of information that I have ever met in the gym are some of the most jacked people. When I was a kid and I first started like watching YouTube videos and shit like that, I would watch these super fucking jack guys on YouTube and they'd be like, this is what I do, like sets, you do a set of 100 in skull crusher and then you get your buddy to fucking punch you in the face while you're doing your set and then you get him to throw weight at you and then you drop and do 100 fucking push-ups and then like just the most absurd shit they could possibly think of because yeah, it got them a stupid pump and it was just hardcore. But just because something's hardcore doesn't mean it's fucking gonna work. And I used to train like that and it just wouldn't really work for me because I'm just a fucking natty, skinny kid. And I would have made better progress if I trained the way that I do now and not listened to the fucking super jack guys who were on gear and were genetic specimens and listened to the people who studied this shit and knew what they were talking about and understood the mechanisms that drive growth and all that kind of stuff. So if you're a newbie, and even if you're not, just because, number one, just because somebody's jacked does not mean that they know what the fuck they're talking about. Because a lot of times people who are the most jacked are the most genetically gifted, so it's the easiest for them to get there, and that's why they are the most jacked, so everything works for them. So they don't really have to try very hard to like figure out what works best, because everything works great. So rule number one, just because someone's jacked does not mean that they're a good source of information. And rule number two, don't go looking for those people to learn from. So like, do your best to learn from the people who have like, I hate to say it because it's kind of a meme now, but who have like a scientific approach to understanding why things work and how things work. Some of them are jacked and are also a good source of information, but I'm just saying that's not like a prerequisite to be a good resource. Damn it. Fuck, dude. So that's an example of why reducing the need for coordination will improve ability to create a hypertrophy stimulus, because I failed that set because I lost coordination and lost my balance. I've just started reintroducing Bulgarians, so I'm not very good at them right now. And so if I was doing a more stabilized movement like a single leg press or even a more stabilized version of Bulgarians, I would have been able to get those last 2 reps because I wouldn't have been able to lose my balance, because I wouldn't have had to have balanced as much or coordinated myself as much. So that's just like a exhibit A, classic example of why less internally stabilized movements are going to be better for hypertrophy, because you can just push the target muscle closer to failure. All right, leg extensions. So the next thing that I wish I knew when I first started lifting was that more volume is not better. I've talked about this before, but when I was a kid, I came into the gym, and this is probably because I was watching, Pumping Iron and all these bodybuilders just doing like tons and tons and tons of volume. And I would go into the gym, and unless I left the gym like destroyed, I didn't think I did a good job. So I would just do like 8 exercises for one muscle group, and I would do like sets of 10 to 15 or 8 to 12 and do like 4 sets per exercise and just absolutely fucking crush myself. And I would leave the gym, and if I like couldn't move my arms, that's a good workout. That's not the play. Ultimately, I wish I'd known that when I started. Just less is more. Obviously it's different for everybody. And there's going to be a sweet spot, but I've talked about this before. You can go check out my other video where I talk about this, which is the video where basically everything you need to know in order to maximize growth as a natural. That's the video. But anyway, I talk about this in that video as well. Just there is a sweet spot for volume, and oftentimes for people, they're not very good at recovering anyway. And so they're actually going to benefit from doing even less volume, because they're not going to recover from moderate amounts of volume anyway, because their sleep and their diet's not dialed in. So if you can't dial your sleep and your diet in because of your lifestyle, your work obligations, your schedule, whatever, then the better way to do it is to basically program less volume so you don't have to recover quite as much, and that will, in the long run, you'll make more progress doing that. Okay, so everybody says this, it's kind of cliche, but I think it just is so important that it bears repeating. Last thing that I wish I knew when I started was just that the gym is not the majority of it. Like, you only trigger the growth in the gym, you complete the growth process outside of the gym with eating and sleeping, just recovery. And basically, the old adage is like, you don't actually grow in the gym. And that's true. Obviously you have to train hard, and how you train, all that stuff is very important, but the actual growth takes place outside of the gym. And if you're new to the gym, a lot of people kind of think, okay, like basically the only thing I need to do is just train. If I go to the gym consistently, I'm gonna make progress, and I'm gonna make maximal progress. You are gonna make progress if you do that, that's true. But like I remember when I first started, I just thought, the more I train, the more I'm gonna grow. And that's all there is to it. That's what I need to focus on. And I really underestimated like how much emphasis I needed to place on sleeping and eating. So I was training my ass off, albeit doing too much volume and doing stupid exercises and kind of training like an idiot. But I wasn't sleeping properly. You know, I was staying up late playing video games, fucking off, and I wasn't eating very well. And those are the kinds of things that you really need to do if you want to maximize your growth. So obviously train hard, take advantage of, you know, all the tips that I provide and other people in terms of optimizing your training, but you have to optimize your recovery as well with consistent and like healthy sleep protocols, making sure you're hitting your macros, making sure you're eating nutritious, like micronutrient dense foods, and just making sure that you're staying on top of your recovery, because ultimately you can train as much as you want, but if you're not recovering properly, you're not going to make the amount of gains that you would be, even if you were training less optimally, but recovering better. All right, guys, so that's the video. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you learned something. That's kind of what I hope to achieve with every video, is that you learn something and then maybe you laugh a little bit about, or laugh a little at me being a dumbass. Because at the end of the day, we're doing this because it's fun. You know what I mean? It's important to do things properly. It's important to make sure you're making good use of your effort and your time. But we're just doing this because we like it. No one's forcing us to be fucking bodybuilders. I mean, I'm not even a fucking bodybuilder. I don't even compete. I'm a wannabe. So it's not that serious. You know what I mean? But obviously making gains is fun. So kind of got to balance having fun intrinsically and having fun because you're making progress. But yeah, that's those are the things I wish I knew when I started. Honestly, that list could go on forever. There's so many things that I fucked up when I was starting out because I listened to my fucking gym teacher or my fucking, you know, some steroid abusing douchebag on YouTube. And don't take that as me saying everyone who does steroids is a douchebag, because that's not what I mean. But anyway, yeah, it could be a very long list, but those are kind of the fundamentals. And you know, we'll probably do a part 2 because, like I said, there's just so many things. But that's the video. I hope you guys avoid those mistakes that I made as a young Evan lifting, young lifting Evan. And I'll see you guys in the next one.